Hi, I'm Brad Buckner with SharpensBest.com, and today what I'm going to do is I'm kind of starting a new series here called Old Knife, New Knife. You know, old knife, bad knife, new life, okay? Old knife, new life. You know, a lot of old people think that, you know, bad knife, you know, okay, you're done with it. Well, I'm going to put a new life on an old knife, all right? So what I do is at the Salvation Army today, I picked up a couple of knives. Got a little thin bread knife here, like fillet type knife like that. I got a wider knife that might be called a chef knife. They're stainless steel. I paid a whole $1.99 each for them. Quite dull, actually. This one is going to need some really new life to it because whoever's been sharpening this made the bevel really steep. So reprofiling the blade is what I would do. Do I use my sharpener to reprofile everything? No. Part of the reason is I need a bigger, flatter surface. So what I did is I actually bought, it's called Tool Bench hardware, all right? It's a two-sided whetstone. One side is coarse, one side is not as coarse. It's fine, all right? So we just take that out of there. So why do I use a stone? Okay, I'm not so pig-headed that I would stand there and tell you that I would use my sharpener for everything. Can I? Yes, but not always. So we're going to take the coarse side of this stone right here, and I want that big, long, flat surface. And I'm going to use mine like nobody else. I've never seen anybody do this. Everybody that sharpens, you know, they do this. That is so incredibly slow. And what I do is I cheat. I turn it around this way, put my finger up here, put the knife on the bevel and the stone on the bevel that I want to accomplish, and I just start grinding. And I can put a lot of pressure on there, and I can move a lot of metals fairly fast. Oh, wait a minute. I know what I didn't do. Just to prove to you that I'm not going through the motions for no reason at all. Wind's screwing my paper. Okay, I can. No, I can't. I was going to say I can. Yes, I can. There, I can make it cut, but you got to coax it to cut. Okay. So now let's take my stone here, put it on there like this, move rapidly with a lot of pressure on it. Looks just like this on your side. And then I'm going to work on it like this to reprofile it. And I'm going to bring that knife down to about a 12-degree angle, 10, 12 degrees. Why? I want it to be really sharp. I don't want this knife to be tough, although it will be tough enough for meat, vegetables, fruit, things like that. This is not a knife that you'd go out and chop trees and stuff, although it's heavy enough that you probably could get away with a lot of that. Just like that, move it right on out. And then we're going to turn it over and work on it again. And because I use my grindstone, my whetstone at the knife, it's so much faster than trying to do this. You know, that would take you for absolutely ever to reprofile a knife. So we're just gonna get with it, use it like a grinder, put the whetstone in my hand instead of the knife in my hand, moving the knife at it, just like that. And come back here, work on it. This is the same as the Japanese waterstone type deal, with one exception. I'm going to take this knife down where it might take somebody else 20 to 30 hours. I'll do it in maybe a minute and a half or so, because I really get quite aggressive with the pressure and the rapid motion. And if you can see it, see the little fibers of metal, little whiskers? That means I'm actually cutting the blade. But I don't use my whetstone. Okay, would you do this to a $300 whetstone sideways like that? Absolutely not, period. All right, I pay $1.50, $2, $3 for a whetstone, and I don't get stupid crazy with it. I'll still not cut big grooves in it, but would I do that with a $300 Arkansas whetstone or something? No, I wouldn't do that. I'd use it right. But to me, this is just a $3 tool that's going to accomplish my goal. What is my goal? I'm reprofiling the cutting edge on this blade. All right, let's see. That's probably, I don't know, 4 minutes, 5 minutes maybe. You'd have to check on the video and see. All right, now let's take my sharpener, run it along the edge. By the way, this is the long handle. and it has, it's been abused. It actually has a couple of nicks in it, which is, well, maybe it doesn't. That's just stuff stuck to the blade. Okay. Even if it had a couple of small nicks in it, it really doesn't have any effect on the sharpening. Sounds funny, but it doesn't. Okay, now we're going to touch it light. About 10 strokes on both sides. Play the game, polish the blade, get the wire edge off there. Just light as you can humanly touch it, just like that. Now let's see, on this fine specimen of a piece of paper, what we got. That's much better. If you're going to reprofile a knife, do yourself a favor, go buy a cheap stone. It's still stone, all right? And then use that to whatever advantage you need to reprofile a knife. And at this point, I could actually just sit around now for a little while and just go like this. And actually, I can actually feel that biting heart. I'm actually putting little nicks in the blade. See, when it comes to a stop, okay, that won't go because it's actually got a hold of the metal. So you would use light pressure, just like that. Go right on around. Do the same thing on this side. It would probably take me from as steep as that was to as shallow bevel as I want and as sharp as I want. Probably take me 10 minutes, 15 minutes maybe. But when I get done, I'll have a knife that is absolutely razor sharp. This is Brad, sharpensbest.com. Old knife, new life. Thanks, Goodwill. Talk to you later.